My name is Sander and I'm a big fan of coffee, cocoa and the climate. And since you're watching, I'm going to bet that you are too. When you're like us, you love talking about how we can produce all of the products we love so much while benefiting all the people in the supply chain and while remaining within our planetary boundaries. This is the Carblecast. Let's dig in. I worked in the specialty coffee industry for over a decade, and like everybody else in our industry, I believe that specialty coffee was sustainable, because by paying higher prices to producers, we made sure that there was enough money available to protect the environment. And with almost all companies claiming to pay a better price to the producer, sustainability still is a large part of the narrative of specialty coffee. I started Carble in 2021 to reward small-scale farmers for the carbon that they store in their agroforestry farms. And for that we needed an objective way of quantifying this carbon storage. And we turned to remote sensing for that. And with our first remote sensing stack, we analyzed a number of supply chains, including farms that I had visited over the course of many years. And what I saw absolutely shocked me. One of the interesting aspects of remote sensing technology is that we can travel back in time. Even if we only collected GPS data of a farm polygon today, we can still look at imagery that is 10 or 20 years old. And when we started to make these analyses of coffee farms, some of them including farms that I had personally visited, we found out that many of these farms were established on recently deforested land. Areas where 10 or 15 years ago there were still lush forests. And when you're personally on the ground on the farms, you just do not see what has happened there before. Deforestation was so much worse than I had ever imagined. If you express that in carbon emissions, then we also find out that the carbon footprint of a bag of coffee is probably 10 times higher than what everybody in our industry is assuming. The specialty industry is not more sustainable, we just don't have a clue of what's actually going on the ground. Not much later, we did our first project outside of the specialty coffee industry, and we were amazed to find what kind of data was already available. Our customers had GPS mapped almost all of the farms in their supply chain with really high quality polygons. They had data on the yields that their farmers harvested. They had data on all the prices that were paid to all the producers, so we could easily model the income of the farmers. And maybe even more encouraging, companies had set very clear science-based targets and were tracking progress towards meeting the targets. And even better, huge companies like Nestlé have already announced massive budgets for supply chain decarbonization and for switching to regenerative farming. And it made me wonder, are we in the specialty coffee industry falling behind when it comes to sustainability? Now, the easy answer is companies in the specialty industry are too small to collect data or to have remote sensing in place, but it's just not true. Although almost all companies claim to be buying their coffee directly from the producers, in many cases there's still a trader functioning as a service provider in between the roaster and the producers. And these traders have enough resources to invest in collecting the GPS data of their farms, to calculate carbon emissions, or to quantify the percentage of farmers that are or are not able to provide a decent standard of living for their families. In my opinion, what really needs to change in the specialty coffee industry is the narrative. Yes, we've been able to make massive improvement in terms of coffee qualities, and now the next horizon is to make the same improvement in terms of sustainability. Anyway, these are my thoughts, but of course I would love to hear yours. Please leave a comment below or follow us on LinkedIn. And of course you can find us at carble.co.